I started my career. I mean, I started very early. I started when I was in my first year. I just passed my 12th, and I was doing everything from open learning. So I was doing my bachelor's from open learning, Delhi University. And that point of time, I started looking for a job. And initially, I did work for in a VPO for 3 months, and then I moved to, like, that point of time. It was 2012, and that point of time there was a hype like retail is growing. Then government does some MSME courses. So I did a certification by sponsored by Government of India, and it's a 3 month certification. By that, I got to introduced with retail, and I got a job in retail sector. So I was working then as a in retail store. You must have heard about Lifestyle and Max. These all brands are of Landmark Group, and I was working with one of the group which is Lifestyle. So India, everything like you have Home Center, you have Lifestyle, you have Baby Swap. These are the brands which you will find across the Lifestyle, and they work under the umbrella of Lifestyle International. In Middle East, you will find those in the Landmark Group. So I started working there as a customer service associate, and initially it was a retail job. So I was very it is a tiring job, retail job. You have to stand for like 8 9 hours, and you just have to attend the customers whatever problem they are facing. So in the first 3 months, I was very I mean, it was very tiring, and I was not getting time for my family on Saturday and Sunday. Those are the crucial days. You will never get holidays on those days. So I was thinking that what can I do in my career to come out from this? And it was a low paying job. Like, so you are working as a customer service associate initially, and that point of time in my education, my experience, there was nothing that can give me the higher elevation in my career. So I was thinking, and then I found someone working in backstore there. And backstore is like someone working on the system, and we call it back office or blah blah with different names. So I was thinking that point of time, I want to do something like this where you get Saturday off, Sunday off. In normal jobs, you have to work for 6 days. That was initial motivation, and then I started searching like what are the skills required to uh, get to into that career. And retail was like I mean, some point in time, I felt embarrassment also in the retail job, and I had at some point every job is job, but in retail you have to clean your section. You have every section is allotted. So the brand, the section which you have given to you, you have to do dusting just like you do in at home. So you have to clean up your section, pile up the clothes, everything you need to do. So then after doing 1 year of experience there, I thought like I need to learn these things like Excel, Word, emailing, how you can do email, basic things. So when you are 12th pass, you doesn't have these skills. Probably if you are doing something from, like, you are doing schooling from some prestigious school, probably this. But at that point of time, 2012, you doesn't have that skill. So then I started looking for those kind of job where I can use some of these skills. I had some exposure in those skills, but I was looking where I can implement and work and get experience. Then I started working. I tried a lot of places, but multiple rejection, because I doesn't I mean that point in time I didn't have experience, and I was looking for a job like that. So multiple rejection. Then I got a job in a company which is known as the RR Financial Consultant. It's a very it was sometime well known in 1990s, but then they have lost their goodwill and name and fame, everything. The company is still in, in somewhere in Delhi, but that point in time it was near to Rajiv Chowk, Jhandewalan. So I I started working there, and I did so many mistakes there. I mean, I sent wrong emails. I and there was a manager of me that was working there with me, who was like, he was shouting on me, but his intention was not to shout, but he was like trying to, people try to motivate you in different way by scolding on you, by saying some bad words, but their intention is to make you good. So I learned a lot there by doing mistakes. I mean, doing wrong emails, doing some random things. But out from there, in that one year, I learned a lot in how do you work in office, how do you email, how do you work on Excel. So these are the basic stuff. When you go and you want to work with any company, you need those kind of skills. And after working there, it was like 2015. That point of time, I started looking for a job again. And Paytm, I heard that Paytm is hiring like 3,000 people. And at this point of time, my graduation was also completed. So uh, I went there and I gave my first interview, and I was rejected. And still, on those days, I had some problem of confidence, and my fluency, probably English communication, which is always required, or maybe I was not that confident to speak enough. So in first round, which was JD, and I remember that there was a topic given, and I was rejected in the first round because I was not speaking enough. So then I got another some from somewhere. I got another mail one day. Again, I went there, and this time I went to like final round. So like they were taking 3 4 round. These were the initial days of Paytm. So then I was again rejected in the final round. So then again I got an email from somewhere, and I went there to for the third time. So third time the HR recognized me, and this was a job for like BTechs. So they said like, you have completed BCom, but this job role is for BTech. But still HR said like, I've seen you coming before. I'm forwarding your resume. So if you get selected, then uh good. So at that time I got selected. Initially in Paytm, I worked in like uh Paytm first, Paytm malls. So Paytm has this Paytm mall earlier, which is a e-commerce. So I worked in an e-commerce branch where I was working with cataloging team. Then from cataloging in 2016, 17, I moved to uh, their Google Analytics team. And while I was from 2014 to 2015 16, I was working in PT, and I did so many things like learning SAP, learning digital marketing, and all these learnings has helped me in my career to become a generalist. So having knowledge in everything, small like insights from all the departments, and that comes together to kind of give you the insight. Okay, how marketing works, how finance work exactly, because these different domains gives me the kind of complete knowledge. So while I was like in 2000, I was in uh, I was in PTM in 2017. I started learning about analytics, like learning C, SQL, learning R, learning Python. I did a offline course, and then internally I started to look for the business analyst role. So in PTM, I moved to the Central Google Analytics team. I started working with business analyst. I started working with tech team for Google Analytics implementation, and then analytics domain. So this is where I started the journey. Journey started, and since I started from scratch, uh, this is the point of time like you doesn't get raise that you want. Like your peers, probably you are working as a business analyst, but your peers are working at quite a higher salary, and you want that to be equalized. So that was not like in Paytm, that was not happened. But I remember I got a job in one of the I got an offer letter from Jagran as that point of time, like Jagran news channel, newspaper. So then they matched my offer, and then I worked in Paytm for another 1 year. And this is the time I got the like satisfaction with my salary, because it was kind enough to have say that it's a good salary at that point of time. And this is what I wanted by learning and doing everything in my career. So in I had this fascination that I want to work in Bangalore. It's called Silicon Valley of India at that point of time. So in 2019, I got a job in Bangalore, and I moved to Bangalore, and I started working with Landmark Group again, but it was a contractual job. And my first experience also was with Landmark, but it was with Lifestyle. There's one brand. So I started working with Landmark Data Labs as business analyst, and there I worked for a year. And but it was a good stint. I did a lot of things and I learned a lot. Then uh, during the COVID time, uh, I was doing good, but because COVID happened and there was like a lot of firing, so they were not firing me, but it was like they said we will enroll you, but they were like, no, we can't do it because COVID is happening, this and that. So there was some uncertainty, but I was not happy, so I left the job. But luckily, the company which I was working there. I was working for Landmark there, Landmark Data Labs. But Landmark has this structure of where they have like Center Point, and there are different brand of them. So one of their brand is Center Point in Dubai, and then somebody from Dubai called me that, do you want to join us here? So that point of time during the COVID in August, I moved to Dubai and I started working with Landmark uh, there. So they have the brand Center Point, something similar like Lifestyle here. So I was working there as a senior business analyst with in Landmark corporate office, which is like head of India and everything. So for their e-commerce brand, I was working, and I was working there with one of my mentor who was earlier working with me in Paytm. So I worked there for like 2 years, and this time I had a unique opportunity and experience to learn with business people. Earlier, I was working with more like doing analytics project and all that, but this time I was working more like a business team and their requirement and solving all the data requirement they have, the problems which they have. So those kind of stuff, and then uh, in around 2000 like 2022. Uh, this now I was approached by now in Dubai itself. They had office in Dubai, so they said like, "Do you want to join here?" I had an interview, and they found good. So it is a startup. So they offered me the role of head of analytics and insight. And from last 2 years, I'm working there.